Hi everyone, today we'll be talking about the newest development in the Orchard area, Upperhouse at Orchard Boulevard. Let's dive in. The development sits on a land plot that is zoned residential with commercial on the first story. Upperhouse at Orchard Boulevard is the only land lot that is designated with commercial at first stories compared to the other residential developments generally in the Orchard Boulevard area. The development comprises of one block of 35-story apartments with a total of 301 units. Your address will be 22 Orchard Boulevard, and this is one factor that you're also purchasing, the Orchard Boulevard address, which is highly prestigious in the entire of Singapore. It is a 99-year development commencing from 20th of May 2024, and the expected vacant possession is mid of 2029. The land area is 7,000 square meters, which translates to about approximately 75,000 square feet. So despite being right next to Orchard Boulevard MRT, the developer is giving 241 residential car park lots. This is approximately 80% of the entire 301 units. So this tells you the profile of buyers that the developer is expecting for this project. The architect is ADDP and the landscape consultant is Ecoplan Asia. So moving on to the developer. The developer is UOL, which is no stranger as it is one of the largest Singaporean developers. Upperhouse is the latest in a range of UOL's masterpiece collection, which includes Mayor House in the east and Wharton House, which was just released in the past year. However, they have also done quite a few recent launches, such as Parktown Residences in Tampines, Mayor Blue in the east, Pine Tree Hill along Ulu Padang, and they will also be responsible for the upcoming government land sales project at Holland Drive, which they will co-develop with CapitaLand. So given that they have also interest in the Holland Drive site, there is added incentive to ensure that the developer does not overprice this project so that they can ease off some pressure on selling both developments. Let's first look at the broader area. Orchard Boulevard is a prestigious neighbourhood, being in close proximity to the entire Orchard area. The other large residential clusters will include your Nassim area, the Claymore area, Cane Hill, Patterson, as well as your River Valley area. So Orchard Boulevard itself also borders prime landed property areas such as your Ridley Park and your Chatsworth Park good class bungalow areas and One Tree Hill. The neighbourhood is also in close proximity to the Tanglin area and the clusters of Embassy along Napier. So apart from the Orchard Belt, you can see that within a 2-kilometer radius, you can get to places such as Dempsey Hill, Botanic Gardens, the Stevens Balmoral area, the Newton area, as well as Great World to the south. This portion of Orchard Road over here, namely the Tanglin Cascadian area, is also slated for redevelopment under URA's Strategic Development Incentive Scheme, meaning you can expect some development in the neighbourhood over the medium term. Another thing that you'll notice from the master plan is that there is actually not much new residential land around, which means that any future development will have to be an en bloc of one of the older developments within the Orchard Boulevard area. Zooming into the land plot itself, you are directly next to the Orchard Boulevard MRT station, and you'll also get a sheltered walkway from the development to the MRT station. The last time that this happened in the Orchard area was Orchard Residences, which is on top of Ion. You will also see that there's a land plot here zoned as Future Park. Now this park is owned by N Parks, however the developer will also be responsible for building up this park, which should provide some integration with the development. So generally the block is north-south facing, and you also get some distance away from the neighbouring developments. So the picture on the right, the first one being the Orchard Boulevard MRT station, will show you how close it is once Upperhouse is built. And secondly, this land plot over here is where the current Future Park is zoned on the map. In terms of views, these are what you can expect. Units with a northwest view will face towards the landed housing as well as the Botanic Gardens area. Some units will also get the northeast view, which faces towards the Orchard area, while others will get the southeast view, which will be towards the One Tree Hill landed cluster as well as the city. Moving on to the site plan, you get a 50 meters infinity pool, a clubhouse with gym, function rooms, as well as some leisure pools over here. However, one omission for the development is a tennis court. However, this might not be such a deal breaker in this area because recent developments such as Park Nova and Cascadian Reserve also do not have a tennis court within the development. In terms of unit mix, you have the 1-bedroom plus study all the way until the 4-bedroom units. And the developer has clustered the 1 to 3-bedroom units under their signature collection and the 4-bedroom units under the bespoke collection. A majority of the units out of the 301 units will be catered to the 1 and 2 bedroom units. So I would have liked to have a 5-bedroom unit, but perhaps the developer was concerned that it would be difficult to sell given the quantum expected for such unit types. So at least they have given us a 4-bedroom unit instead of some developments which only have the 1-bedrooms to the 3-bedroom units. For the 2-bedders, there won't be any 2-bed, 1-bath unit type, and for the 1-bedrooms, it will only come with the study. For the 3-bedrooms, you'll only have a 1012 square feet unit, and the unit comes with a yard area, which means that there are no 3-bedroom compact unit types in this development. The 4-bedroom unit is also very large, given that it is 2,000 over square feet. So despite being a harmonized project, you can see that across all the unit types, the unit sizes are also slightly bigger when compared with other harmonized developments that were recently launched. So one unique facility that the developer will be providing is this botanical villa. The idea of a botanical villa is so that homeowners can have a quiet retreat within the development itself if they want a space to relax and unwind. You can expect multiple private spa pools within the botanical villa, which will give homeowners a quiet retreat away from the city, but yet within the development. So the development will be elevated. The street level where Orchard Boulevard MRT is located is considered on basement 1 of the development. The first story, which includes your common facilities such as your infinity pool, will be on level 1, which is about 6.6 meters higher than the street level. Units will then start on level 2 of the development, which is about 19.6 meters from the street level. This is equivalent to about a 6-story building. Not all the unit types will, however, start from the second story. The 1-bedroom on stack 2, the 2-bed plus study on stack 9, and the 4-bedroom unit on stack 1 will start at a higher level. So the pictures on the right here show the themes of what you can expect for the common facilities, which is a mix of greenery as well as a dark stone theme. Let's take a look at a couple of the layouts. First, the 2-bedroom unit. You get a size of 700 square feet, which is quite decent, especially since the development is harmonized. The 2-bedroom is a dumbbell layout, which is the preferred layout for most buyers in today's market. Coming in from the common corridor, you get an enclosed kitchen on the left, and I like that the dining does not directly face the door of the common bathroom. The width and length of the living is also decent, and it allows you to fit a larger couch. In the master bedroom, you can afford to fit a king-size bed complete with 2 side tables. Both bedrooms and balcony will also get a full frontage view of either Orchard Boulevard or the other developments in the south. In terms of the finishings that the developer will be providing, you can expect to get marble flooring in your living, dining and kitchen, and it is also slightly larger than the 60 by 60 centimeters that you typically get for most developments. Your kitchen will be fitted by Vizuk kitchen appliances, and your wardrobes will be designed by Kakaro. Next, on the 4-bedroom unit, which is the largest unit type, it is 2,056 square feet. So this is a very big 4-bedroom available in the market right now. The developer will be giving a private lift with a private lift lobby. I like that this private lift lobby helps to give you an additional privacy compared to if the private lift were to open directly into your living and dining area. There's a powder room for your guests adjacent to the private lift lobby, which also doubles up as a common bathroom. To the left of the apartment, you also get a really large Asian kitchen complete with a home shelter which you can use as a helper's room and a WC. You get an integrated fridge and freezer, washer and dryer, dishwasher, and as well as natural ventilation here at the sink area. Moving into your dining space, you have a separate gourmet kitchen bar that is integrated together with your dining area. This space serves as the centerpiece of your home, given that it connects all of the other rooms within the unit. All 4 bedrooms come with their own ensuite toilets. And within your master, you also get a standalone bathtub with a dual sink. The developer will be giving a balcony area for the junior master, which could be a hit and miss depending on the type of buyer you are. Some buyers in the market prefer just 1 balcony area and might see 2 balconies as a hindrance compared to a value-added space. Homeowners of the 4-bedroom unit will also have an allocated private car park lot within the development. I like that they have separated the living and the dining area. In most spaces, the living area is the center of the house. However, what I like about this separation is that your living is tucked away from most of the attention here in the dining as well as the bar area, giving you a quiet corner to lounge, and it also integrates with the outdoor space in the balcony. Furthermore, the developer will be giving the double volume ceiling for the living area, which will enhance the space as a place to relax or to carry conversations. One other thing to take note is that on some levels, there will be balcony fins installed, which could block your views. All 4 bedrooms can easily fit at least a queen-size bed with side tables. Your master is also extremely huge and it comes with a customized walk-in wardrobe, which I will show later in another slide. So specific for the 4-bedroom units, your walk-in wardrobe is designed and fitted by Rimerdizio. For both your main kitchen area as well as the bar, the fittings are provided by Ernesto Media, which is the same fittings used for Boulevard 88. The gourmet kitchen bar countertop will be fitted with a Rosso Levanto marble. You can also expect to have large format 120 by 120 cm marble flooring in your living, dining, as well as your private lift lobby. Your powder room by the lift lobby will be fitted with a granite finishing. So here are some visual illustrations of how you can design the unit's interior, whether it's a 2-bedroom, the 3-bedroom, or the 4-bedroom unit. So let's look a little bit about the land bid. The break-even price for Upperhouse is slated to be about $2,652 per square foot. The previous development launched in the Orchard Boulevard area was Cascaden Reserve, and as of today, they are transacting at about $3,100 per square foot on the resale market. However, Cascaden Reserve is not a harmonized development, which means that if we take away the aircon ledge from this calculation, current transacted per square foot prices are hovering at about $3,255 per square foot. For Upperhouse, the break-even price is about $2,652 per square foot. So after factoring in a profit margin for the developer, there is still some room for the developer to price some of the units rather attractively. This is good news, especially for home buyers who have a good ballot number on unit selection day, since the developer will likely want to sell at least a certain percentage during the launch weekend. I've taken a look at some of the transacted prices of the larger developments within the Orchard Boulevard area. First, you can see that there's not much new land in the area. Furthermore, Upperhouse at Orchard Boulevard is the only land plot with commercial on the first story, apart from the 2 land plots at Orchard MRT. So any new development in the area would have to be an en bloc, which would not come cheap. So even though some of the per square foot prices of the older developments are trending below the 3,000 per square foot mark, average transaction price is also not low given that it has a larger unit size. For example, Cascaden Residences is averagely transacting at 3.82 million, while Orchard Bel Air, which is a 99-year leasehold development that TOP'd in 1984, is transacting on average at $4.78 million. Newer freehold developments such as Boulevard 88 is already transacting at about $3,800 per square foot at a quantum of, on average, $5 million. So given that Upperhouse is the only harmonized development within this neighbourhood, it could potentially also be the most budget-friendly development in the entire area, due to the efficiency on the unit layout, and it is also the newest development. The smaller 1+ study and 2-bedroom unit sizes offer an interesting value proposition, since only Cascaden Reserves, as well as Cascaden Residences, have smaller unit types. For the larger 3 and 4-bedroom units in Upperhouse, harmonization helps to stand out compared to the other developments as the unit layout is more efficient. So one potential concern for the development is purchasing a 99-year leasehold development in an area for freehold developments. I put out data of freehold versus leasehold for developments within 500 meters of Orchard Boulevard MRT. So there is a gap between the freehold as well as the 99-year lease development. However, the per square foot prices, since 2019, you can see that the per square foot for the 99-year leasehold developments have increased rather sharply. This is due to the introduction of Cascaden Reserve. So if you just take the data at face value, you might conclude that the freehold development is actually worth purchasing since it's at a similar per square foot as a 99-year lease development. However, the budget needed today to purchase a freehold development is much higher than the 99-year developments in the area. So using per square foot to compare in this case might not be the best tool. Instead, I mapped out the average transaction value of each year for freehold as well as 99-year lease development within 500 meters of Orchard Boulevard MRT. The current price gap is about an additional 110% if someone were to purchase a freehold development. Across the years, the average price gap is about 117%. And currently, 99-year developments in this area is transacting at about $3.64 million. So if you want to be safe, purchasing Upperhouse at a quantum of about $3.52 million and below will help you to reach the average price gap of 117% compared to the freehold counterparts. However, this potentially limits you to the 3 bedrooms and smaller unit sizes. Home buyers looking for the 4-bedroom units will have to be aware that their purchase is primarily for own stay rather than expecting a quick profit. Next, a little about rental transactions within 500 meters of Orchard Boulevard MRT. I've put out the data based on the different numbers of bedrooms within the development. On average, one bedrooms, for example, is transacting at about $4,400 a month, which translates to about a per square foot price of $7.15 in the area. If we then use the unit sizes for Upperhouse at Orchard Boulevard, for example, the 474 square feet unit, this translates to about $4,300. If we then assume that the cost of the unit is about $3,100 per square foot on average, then you get about 3.5% of gross rental yield for the one bedroom units and all the way to 3% for the 4-bedroom unit sizes for Upperhouse at Orchard Boulevard. So this rental yield is actually not bad, especially for the larger 3 and 4-bedroom unit sizes. So in summary, who is Upperhouse at Orchard Boulevard catered for? I feel that the development is catered more for buyers who are either purchasing the lifestyle and the address of Orchard Boulevard or investors looking for a rental property. Being the only harmonized development in the Orchard Boulevard area does help in terms of the unit's efficiency as well as paying for just the livable space. It is also the only land plot within the Orchard Boulevard area to be zoned residential plus commercial on the first story. This helps the development stand out compared to the fact that it is also directly accessible to Orchard Boulevard MRT. In addition, the development will also stand out due to the quality finishings that are promised by UOL. Scarcity in terms of the lack of new residential land plots in the area, as well as commercial transformation in the Cascaden Tanglin area of Orchard, should help keep the property values in this neighbourhood up over the long term. What is also important for buyers to understand is the price gap between the freehold and the 99-year leasehold development within the Orchard Boulevard area, so that you can purchase at a safe entry price, which then would help in your exit strategy. So if you're thinking of heading down to the show flat and placing a ballot number, drop me a message or DM me at 9150-1528. See you in the next one.